All right, so we'll get started here. About 12:03 Eastern time is my time here. Um, I know we have a couple more on the attendees list. So as we do some brief introductions here, maybe they will hop in. But just to introduce myself, first of all, I want to thank you guys for coming to this talk here on using Copilot and AI tools in Excel. I'm pretty excited about what we're going to go over for these next 45 minutes or so. Um, Introduce myself here. My name is Charles Faulkner. I am a software applications instructor. I currently hold a couple certifications, the MO200, which is in Excel, and then our PL900, which is in our Power platforms, such as Copilot Studio or Power Apps, Power Automate, and then also the PL300, which is in Power BI. Um, so I've had my fair share of kind of working with these softwares that can analyze data. And so what we're kind of going to go over today is how we can use Copilot to help us analyze our data a little easier. So of course we can always build our own pivot tables or pivot charts or some of these analytic tools that Excel provides for us. But what some of our small steps we're going to be doing today is just to kind of see a shortcut in that. So how can I use Copilot to build some of these harder formulas, or how can I use Copilot to make some pivot tables and pivot charts, or just answer any questions in my data that I wouldn't necessarily have answered by just looking at my raw text or values there. So that's a short introduction of me. Yeah, admit got some people coming in. But yeah, so that's a short introduction for me. I'm currently out of Chattanooga, Tennessee right now. We are on Eastern time, so if I'm shouting out times, it's 12:05 my time. So what I want from you guys is you guys don't have to introduce yourself or anything because I know we only have about 45 or to an hour here. But if you could just either give me a thumbs up, a reaction in the chat, if you have any um, experience in using these AI tools such as Copilot. So just give me a thumbs up in the chat if you have any experience using Copilot. All right, we got one. Well, the rest of you guys have came to the right place. Two in the chat here with the thumbs up. So the rest of you guys have came to the right place. What I'm going to do is just give a brief overview of how we can use Copilot in Excel. Yes, but not with Excel. Yeah. So similar to ChatGPT, Copilot is a chatbot per se that is made by Microsoft. One of the things that make Copilot different is that it can be integrated within our Microsoft 365 apps. So I can use it with Word, I can use it with Outlook, with SharePoint, with Excel, with Power BI. So I can use this AI insight to further my workload. Um, so I use it a lot in Outlook. I let it read all of my emails that I'm sending out. I use it in Excel to kind of get some analytic tools. And if I don't feel like typing out the entire syntax of a formula, I can just ask Copilot to do so. So what we'll go over first is just general licensing here. So I'm going to share my screen. All right, can you guys give me a thumbs up if you can see my screen here? Nice. All right, so we can see here Microsoft Copilot 365 Copilot. Our business license is going to be $30 a month. With this license, we get AI powered chat grounded in our business data, meaning I could communicate with Copilot if I'm in Microsoft Word or Microsoft Excel. I can also upload my files through uh, Copilot and kind of ask Copilot to analyze this or give me a brief summary or anything along that line. So I can also access Microsoft 365 Copilots in apps such as Teams, Outlook, Word, PowerPoint, and Excel, as I have spoke on before. I can create and use agents with Copilot Studio. So that's creating our own chatbot. So I can make my own Copilot agent to possibly put on maybe a company website or anything along the lines of that. I can experience enterprise grade security, privacy, and compliance. Now we've also got our enterprise, which is pretty much our same familiar plan here, and our Copilot chat. So this is just the chat bot that Copilot, that Microsoft has given Copilot. So if I do my try Copilot chatbot here, it's just going to take me to where I can ask Copilot questions. It's going to take me to kind of similar to if you have any experience in general AI such as ChatGPT, it's going to take me to that page there where I can ask any scenario or something like what's the weather today or share files through my add content tab here and share some files and let Copilot analyze it for me. So now that feature's free. Can also buy it through personal, $9.99 a month for one person. Productivity apps with Microsoft Copilot, Microsoft Designer AI powered image creator and editor, personal data, and security here in our personal plan. What I am using today will be the business plan. When I'm maneuvering through Excel, it will be going over our business plan here. All right, for those of you that have just entered our team's meeting today, what I've been over so far is I just explained the general term and use of Copilot and how I can use it in some of my Microsoft 365 applications here. So I've just went over our licensing and our price. And so what we're going to do now is I'm going to open up Excel. As you guys can see my screen, I should have some Excel data here. And I'm going to show you guys some Copilot tools to make things a little easier when you're maneuvering through some Excel data, how I can use Copilot to analyze my data, to make pivot charts, pivot tables, and some additional formulas here. Later on in this talk here, I will show you guys a little brief snippet of how I can maneuver Copilot through Microsoft Word. I'm going to ask it to write something along the lines of maybe a summary of some of this data here and put it in Microsoft Word. So you guys will be able to see our Copilot in action in Microsoft Word as well. So, just background information here. So, Microsoft released Copilot for enterprise customers on November 1st, 2023. Sorry, 2023. Initially, it was available for customers with our Microsoft 365 E3 and E5 subscriptions. It typically required a minimum of 300 seats or 300 users. So if you were going to get Microsoft Copilot, you would have to administrate it out to 300 employees. So it would only really allow us big companies to be able to maneuver through Copilot. And since then, starting in January 2024, Microsoft has expanded the availability of Copilot, making it more accessible to any enterprise customer without the requirements of a minimum number of users. As we had just seen earlier, how I showed how we could have just a singular user, just a personal use for Microsoft Copilot. All right, so now I am in my Excel file here. I've opened up my data. Of course, this is just sample data here. My date, product, region, sales rep, customer unit, sales, and some cost of goods sold there. So what we want to do is I just want to go over some ways that I can get Copilot to analyze this data here. So in Excel, so as of right now, now there may be a change to this coming, but as of right now, just the version of Copilot in Excel that is available can only analyze data or maneuver through data that is formatted within a table. So as you see here on my screen, I just have raw data. So I can't ask Copilot I can ask it some questions, but if I want it to really maneuver my data and make charts or make pivot tables based on my data, I need to format it as a table first. All right. Before we go any further, if you guys, because I know some more people have added in to our chat, to our teams here, can you give me a thumbs up whether or not you have used Copilot before, or if you have the official licensing to use it within other applications such as Excel or Word or Power BI? Yeah, we got a hand raised here by Paul. All right. So just a couple of you here have used or have the official licensing for our Copilot here. So our data must be in table format. So to make our data in table format, here's a little Excel shortcut tip here. All I need to do is select all of my data, just Control A, and then to make it a table, I'm just going to do Control T, as in table. So Control T as in table is going to let me give me this dialog box here. Where's your data for our table A1 through H106? That is correct. My table has headers. As I can see, I've got a date, product, region, and a sales rep header here. So I'm just going to select OK. So now my data has been formatted correctly. It is formatted as an Excel table. So from here, now I can open up Microsoft Copilot. So if I see here, I mean, if you follow my big orange mouse here, I try to make it this color so it's a little easier to follow. But I'm on my home page. I'm going to move all the way down to the end where I see Copilot. So if you don't have the correct licensing for Copilot, this may be grayed out or just unavailable to use. So I'm going to select Copilot here. And it's going to bring up kind of a small chat bot in my right-hand side of my screen. I can see here I've got some options. Suggest a formula, summarize using pivot tables or charts. I can go deeper analyzing results through Python there. Highlight all cells with incomplete in red, or apply some color and conditional formatting maybe, or just ask Copilot in general here. I also see that I've got some suggestions. So I can show data insights, suggest a suggestion for a formula column, suggest conditional formatting here. So what I'm going to do first, I'm going to click inside my table so Excel knows that this is what I'm referencing. And I'm just going to say show data insights. I want to see what it's going to give me first. So it will take a second. What I found is there are sometimes some parts in the day that it is a little slower than others. So now I can see here, I've analyzed data in cells A1 through H106, which is our table. And here's what I found. So it's made us a chart, units by date. The data insights show that the sum of units sold by date, for example, on January 1st, 2011, 16 units were sold, and on January 2nd, 2011, 73 units were sold. See chart above for more details. So I could always copy this just by hitting my copy key and possibly put it in the Word document or anything that I can use to kind of summarize my data. I can also see that Copilot has made this chart for me, but I can also add this to a new sheet. So I can do so by just selecting that plus sign, add to new sheet. It's going to load and load, and I can see here it's made a pivot table of our date by sum of units, as well as that pivot table that it has created. It's also made me a chart. So if you guys just saw how easy that may have been, I didn't even type in a prompt. All I did was show some additional insights, show data insights. And just like that, within what, 3 seconds, I had a pivot table and a chart, a pivot chart here that was analyzing my data by units, units by date there. So I can also ask it, ooh, excuse me, I can also ask it questions. So I'm looking at my data. I know maybe there's specific criteria of knowledge that I need to gain from this data. And, you know, as I see here, as I scroll here, I've got 106 rows. I've got 5 or 6 columns of data. It's kind of all conjoined. It's not sorted by sales rep in any way. It's not sorted by region. It's just by our date here and just random entries. So it's pretty tough for me to look at this and give you any real answer of what you're trying to ask me here. I'm going to have to maybe do some additional analyzing. I can't just look at this data and tell you exactly what it's telling me. I can't tell you who my highest sales rep had this month. I can't say, you know, what our best or top region is just by looking at this data. I'll have to do some additional analyzing, which could take time. And this is where Copilot's going to come in. So again, I can come over to Copilot, make sure I'm clicked in my table, and all I got to do is ask, who was our top sales rep? Now I can see I analyzed data in our range here, A1 through H106, which is our table, and here's what I found. So not only is it going to give me that name of our top sales rep, it's also going to give us the value too. So Rachel sold $19,000 in the month of January here. This data is just through the month of January. It's, again, of course, it's sample data, but so it's going to give me my top sales rep, the value that it's given. I can even have the option to add to new sheet, or I can just copy my value. So it's going to give me two answers: a data-driven answer where I can copy and kind of prove my findings. It's also going to give me a text answer where I can possibly copy and put on a Word document to sum up what I have been analyzing here. All right. So how's everyone feeling so far? I want everyone to kind of understand. I mean, it's pretty easy as far as how I can maneuver this data with Copilot. But does anyone have any questions so far on what we're going over or anything we're doing here? Or just questions in Copilot in general? All right. Well, if you have questions, feel free to you can take your mic off mute and let me know. Or you can put your questions into the chat. We'll also leave about 10 minutes at the end of this little talk and examples here to go over any questions you may have. But let's go over some more tools here, some more prompts and ways that I can maneuver my data. So another way is, if we're all familiar with our pivot tables, we've seen it make our pivot table here just by me saying show me some data inside. I can also get it to make some custom pivot tables. So I can say make a pivot table with sales by sales customer and region. And then I can hit enter to send that in. Now it's going to analyze there. And just like that, it's made a pivot table through sales by customer and region. So now all I've got to do is select add to sheet, or I could always check my text summary sum up here. The median budget for each campaign name includes 800 for targeted group 2, 600 for industry conference. See table above for more details. So I'll select add to new sheet. And now I can see here. Let me put some grid lines here. I always like my Excel files with the grid lines. I don't know about you guys. I don't like the just the blank space. I feel like I'm missing something. But I can see by my region, by east, all my sales through my eastern region and my customers, my companies here, my sum of sales. It's made an east total row. So I can say my total sales in my eastern regions. $24,000. I can come down here, my Midwest. It's going to calculate these by companies in the Midwest. I've got my total row as well. So just like that, whether you have any experience in building pivot tables or pivot charts, just with this Copilot here, it's going to let you do it all super fast. I don't have to have any experience in making pivot charts or pivot tables. The only thing I need to know is exactly what data I want to analyze. So in this situation, I knew that maybe for a report or for something my boss or employer or employee was asking me to do, they need me to analyze this data by customer, by region, by sales. So all I've got to do is tell Copilot that, and Copilot is going to do that for me. So pretty cool so far what is done. So now not only can I look at this data, but I can also allow Copilot to help me analyze. So beforehand, we talked about, if we move back to sheet 2, we have no idea really what this data is saying. We can't tell who our top sales rep is. We can't tell what our top region is or top customer. But from 2 prompts, we've had those questions answered. So I wrote 2 prompts. Who's our top sales rep? Gave me our top sales rep and some proof as far as in a pivot table here. Then I've asked, who's my top region here? What is my top region? What's my best region to sell in? So now I can view the data and see that my eastern region is the top region to sell in. So just like that, we've been on this call. I've been in Copilot for all of maybe 12 minutes, and we've made. Yeah. Do you have a question? But like I was saying, so we've just in the 12 minutes we've been in here, we've been able to really analyze our data. We've made 2 pivot charts, 2 pivot tables, and we have found out some key and interesting parts of our data here. All right, so what we are going to do now, just for another example, is we've made it make us 2 pivot tables. We're going to just make a pivot chart. And then we're going to go over some formulas that are available within Copilot here. Then after we go over some formulas, we're going to talk about how we can maneuver our data, let's say if it wasn't in table view, and how we can get maybe write-ups or additional information through Copilot through Microsoft Word. But yeah, so we made our pivot chart here. I asked for give me a pivot chart based on sales by sales rep, and hit send. So now I can see I've made a pivot table by sales rep. I can add it to new sheet. Maybe I'll just say give me a chart. So I'll say give me chart based on that data. Well, sometimes it's finicky here. In most cases, it's giving me a chart here. I've got another instance in my data where it has given me a chart, but we'll just keep moving on here. In this situation, it just tells me how to make a pivot chart. Go to the Insert tab, click on Pivot Chart. Uh, but yeah, I can make something like a column chart, total sales there. Let's see what it's going to do. Yeah, so that is. I've analyzed data in A1 through our table here. All I've got to do is add the sheet, and just like that, we've made a column chart through our data there. All right, so let's go over some formulas, how we can use formulas. So let's say I want to do possibly a sum if formula here, and maybe sum if the sales rep Rachel count the sales over, so a count sales over 200 or $300 here. So I can say make a formula to count, and I'm gonna put quotation mark, Rachel's count Rachel sales over $300. So now it's going to give me that syntax there. So I can see here, count if table 3 sales rep Rachel table 3 under $300. Now I just need to copy to clipboard. Where do I want to put it here? And then paste it, enter, and now it's going to give me that value of 17 sales that are over $300 by Rachel. So all I need to know is what I want that formula to do. So the days of typing in our long formulas are over. All I need to do is find Copilot, know exactly what formula I need to do, and then put it on through there. So from here I can do give me a formula that adds the total sales from Daryl. Of course, these are all generic examples here because I'm working with some generic data. And now it's just going to be a sum ifs formula. So again, all I needed to know is what my data is, or what I need to analyze, or what that formula I want is, and then I just have to type that prompt in. And of course, if I scroll back up to the top, it's giving me other information where I can just select create formulas based off of a column here. So I did create formula, maybe that this table needs. So I can see here this table needs a profit column. So I've asked Excel to create a formula that they think this table needs. I notice I've got my sales and cost of goods sold, but I don't have a profit column. So all I got to do is let Copilot do that for me and select Insert Column. And just like that, Excel has inserted a new column. So it says done. I have inserted profit to column 1. All right, so what I'm going to do now is show you guys how we can possibly analyze some of this data in in Microsoft Word as well. So I'm going to open up Microsoft Word here. And when I open Microsoft Word here, I can see that I'm given some more options. I can describe what you would like to write. So I can tell it to maybe any prompts I have here. So I can say, give me a summary of Copilot in Excel. And just like that, it's made this summary within our Word document. I didn't have to type anything. I didn't have to do any prompts there. All I did was create my summary, give it my prompt, and it's going to type it all on my Word document there. So I've got the option to keep it, regenerate that prompt there. So regenerate, delete, or I can choose to give it additional information such as making it formal or anything along the lines of that there. So what I'm going to do is delete it here. And let's say I want to make a summary or a write-up of this data. All I've got to do is I'm just going to select my data here. I'm going to copy it. And I'm going to paste it into my values here. But one thing we should know is that there is a 2,000 text limit here on Copilot's. So no more than 2,000 text. So what I can do is paste it into my Word document here. So I can paste that data into my Word document just for the time being, and then I can write prompts. So I can get maybe a more advanced prompt here, maybe what I couldn't do in Excel. So we know in Excel we can only analyze our prompt if it is in table, or analyze our data if it's in table format. We know that there's only really things it can do is further analyze that data. But if I want to maybe write a report or a summary of that data, I can always do this. And that's just paste that data into Word. And I can say something like based on the data within this Word document, create a overview and summary of what my data is telling me. And just like that, it's giving me a data overview. It's giving me my dates. It's giving me some products, some regions, my salesperson. So this is right here. It's just breaking down a specific transaction. So I could say, break down the top 5 transactions or anything along the lines of that. Or now I could say, write a more in detailed overview based off of our data that we have available here. So now I can give further analytics here with some text. So again, in Excel, I can't get any of this text or questions answered. However, I can ask some more detailed questions through Microsoft Word. All right, so as far as our content here, I just kind of wanted to show you guys some general and basic tools and tips we can use in Copilot here. So as we walk through everything we have done, we learned how to go over and create pivot tables, how to create charts based on our data. We've learned how to insert Excel formulas, whether it be a simple formula or more advanced formula. We've learned how to insert advanced and simple formulas through our prompts here and really analyze and ask questions about the data. So I can ask what our top customer is, what our top region is, what our top sales is. And then I can say, give me some tables or pivot tables or charts that are going to um, give me a rundown or easy visualizations for this data that we found. So pretty cool stuff, pretty cool knowledge that I think here. So I'm going to open this up to questions. Would like to apologize again for uh, the hijacking that happened. I can guarantee you that it had nothing to do with us or me. Someone just jumped in and shared their screen. So I want to apologize for that as well. Um, but yeah, so now I can take these 10 minutes here to really answer questions or anything that anyone wants to go over here. So Peter said in the chat, thanks, really eye-opening the possibilities here. So yeah, so Copilot allows me to, even if I am not a normalized Excel user, if I'm just use it every now and then, or maybe I don't have much use for it at all, Copilot's going to allow me to ask questions, analyze data, create things that maybe I wouldn't be able to create if my skill level wasn't up to par. So if I didn't have great skill level in Excel, or if I do have great skill level in Excel and just don't want to have to work through all the steps, I can use Copilot to do pretty much any analyzing that I want, whether it's formulas, visualizations, conditional formatting, anything to my table of data that I want. So yeah, I'm glad you gained some knowledge from there. Is there anyone else with any questions? I got to transfer this data to PowerPoint. Yeah, so we could always transfer data to PowerPoint. I would just have to go to PowerPoint here, blank presentation, and I can do the same thing here, my Copilot. And so what I would think the best way for this would be is either saving that file and importing the data file in there, or importing, let's say I'm going to import this Word document of our data. So I've put the data in this Word document, and I'm going to name this Word document. The date's fine. I'll just throw it on my desktop. I'm going to maneuver back to Power BI. Move back to PowerPoint here. I'm going to hit that black backslash there to search for some files that I have and just call it date, because I believe that was what it was called. So there it is, date. Let's make sure that's the correct one. Our desktop. See if I can just drag it over. So date doc 117. So I'm just going to hit that backslash and date. It's having trouble pulling some of my files here. So what I can do is possibly just insert the data raw. But personally, what you would need to do is just insert your files. Um, However, as far as some of my file locations here in my OneDrive, it was not allowing me to kind of search for it. But you could always import your files or just import that data there. Or I could just do this. So I'm going to pull another file that I know it's probably going to be able to take, and that's these outlines here. So here's some class outlines we have. So I can reference that data into PowerPoint here and just give it that data, and it's going to, okay, combining through all outlines, copying and paste to email for training here. It's going to generate. Is going to upload some of these slides and information, and I will say make a PowerPoint about that document. So I've got this SharePoint issue here, but it's generally if you have files within your SharePoints, your organization's SharePoint, then you should be allowed to do that there. So I can see if that works here. But that would just be inserting that document, and they will make a PowerPoint based off your file there. However, one thing I would like to add is you cannot really change the format of your PowerPoint presentation. So however Copilot makes it, that will be kind of how it is made there. There will not be any further information on formatting. I can't change some of the format. I could ask Power Apps, or I could ask Copilot to change some of the formatting, but I can't have 100% total free range on that. So you can see here, it's generating our PowerPoint here, almost there. And just like that, it's made me a PowerPoint presentation with the data that I have given it. So in all of maybe 2 or 3 minutes, I've got a 40 to 50 page power slide over the data I have given it. So again, all I did was just hit that backslash and put it into my prompt there. Yeah, no problem. Does anyone else have any questions here? All right, well, if you don't have any additional questions, I would like to thank you guys so much for coming out and learning about some of these possibilities and capabilities of Copilot in our Microsoft 365 applications here. Uh, if you have any questions, I will put my email in the chat if you want to see anything further or more in detail, or any data analyzing that we have done through Copilot. I'm going to put my email in the chat, so just jot that down. So there it is right there, Charles Faulkner at jncomputertraining.com. So thank you guys so much for coming out and listening to me talk about Copilot. So thank you guys so much. That's all the content we'll do today, unless there is any further questions. Yeah, thank you. Thank you.